Welcome back to the Deep Dive series, where each and every episode we take a look at a different NFL team and come up with a realistic outcome and prediction for them going into the 2022 NFL season. Remember, we wrap this sucker up with the 2023 NFL mock draft based on all these predictions I'm doing for these teams. So that'd be the draft order. But Dallas Cowboys today. This one I found a lot more, like going into it, a lot more interesting than I expected. And I can't wait to talk about it. What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know so. Go ahead, become a bro, and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I don't always get it right, so let me know when I don't. Oh, gosh, what a terrible way to encourage comments. Really, lay into me when I get it wrong. Be gentle. Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to do that by looking at the offense first and foremost. Let's talk about what they got going on schematically with Kellen Moore. He is the OC, the play caller, and he's been the OC since 2019. I can still remember him being QB at Boise. It feels not that long ago, and it's not. He's like, what, 34, 35? It's not that old. But last season, I thought the offense looked very good. They actually had the third highest scoring team in the NFL when you take away defensive and special team touchdowns. So that's a big plus. And I think the fun thing about Kellen Moore's offense is they do a lot of different things and they do it successfully. So they got their eggs in a lot of different baskets. Like, oh, we like RPOs, okay, but we also like play action. We also like a little bit of movement, a little bit of motion. No huddle. Well, no huddle, I'm gonna drop 2 to 3 eggs in there. That's kind of what they are. They do a little bit of everything. I believe in terms of usage when it comes to like play action, RPO, no huddle, and motion, RPO, no huddle, play action. There we go. In terms of usage, they weren't in the top 10 of any of those categories. Yet when it came to their success rate, their efficiency percentage, they were in the top 3 of all those categories. Let's freaking go. So I mean, Kellen Moore, it's so wild. It's like, I can deploy 12 personnel. I could show you empty sets. I could throw a defensive lineman as an H-back back there as an extra blocker. Like, I can do a lot of things to keep the defense off their toes. Now, the one thing I will say about this offense is, because they do a good job of keeping the defense on ice skates. That's kind of the goal for Kellen Moore. It's when they get to the red zone or they get into scoring position and have scoring opportunities, they need to convert on those. They need to be better finishers. So that would be the one thing, capitalizing on how well your offense can move the football. But let's go ahead and take a look at the roster, because they did lose some key parts. They really did. Mari Cooper, kind of the biggest. So let's start with Dak's weapons, because we know a healthy Dak is he's a good football player. He's like a top 10 to 12 quarterback in the league when he's on. And we bring back Michael Gallup. It's gonna be huge. CD Lamb, they list him on the outside. Keep that sucker in the slot, man. He's really good there. I mean, they bring in James Washington, was a good vertical threat. A guy they drafted a couple of years ago in Simi Fehoko, who's another guy you're hoping to be the big-bodied, quick vertical threat. Jalen Tolbert for now is kind of a vertical threat, though I think he's further along than a lot of people anticipated. Like at the Senior Bowl, I didn't expect him to look nearly as crisp on shorter intermediate routes over the middle and such. Holy moly. Sorry, I got a text. Gotta read it. Noah Brown, he's been kind of this wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5 there, especially now with Cedric Wilson gone. Like, you gotta imagine his role gets amplified a bit. They got some guys that they got last year, and TJ Vasher. Don't remember if he was on the practice squad last year. He wasn't on the roster, but he's another big body guy. Ty Freifogel, another big body guy who ran a faster 40 time than what he looks on the field. I will say that. They brought in Ontario Drummond. I don't even know if he makes the roster. I really doubt it. He just doesn't have NFL speed. Jaquari Robertson. That was a solid slot receiver out of Wake Forest. So like, okay, yeah, Cooper's gone, bye-bye. But like, they still got options at receiver. I mean, Dalton Schultz. You talk about him. He had a good breakout season last year, and then they draft Jake Ferguson in round 4, who is basically like Dalton Schultz. Sean is it McKeon? I don't know. Former Michigan tight end. He's more of a blocker. I like this battle for, I think, essentially tight end 3 between, for me, it'd be between Peyton Hendershot and Jeremy Sprinkle. See who can say both have pretty darn good receiving ability. So, like, the playmakers look very good. You still got Zeke there. Tony Pollard's carving out a much bigger role now, as he deserves to. When you're looking at other, like, Rico Dowdle, I don't know, former South Carolina cat. He's fine depth. Like, Malik Davis, though, kind of like, I was like, ooh, because he's actually a pretty darn good receiving back. So I like adding him there. I expect those are going to be the 4 guys that stick unless they bring in anyone else. The question is, the offensive line, can it stay healthy? They added some parts. But yeah, Tyron Smith, that's kind of the big question. Will he be able to stay healthy again in his career? He's in the later stages of his career, with Tyler Smith kind of being the heir apparent, but they could start him immediately at guard as he kind of develops better on the outside. Or they even got my boy Matt W. at, was it just North Dakota, I believe, who just tested great, insane length, like a guy, definitely a guy. I'm not mad that they picked up, that they can develop down the line, especially if things go sour with Terrence Steele. I actually kind of like Terrence Steele more so on the interior, but is what it is. Josh Ball is a guy that I suppose someone that they want to develop. Another guy that's kind of like more, he was more of a slender frame. Like, he's a tall guy, long frame, but he had character stuff. That's kind of why, like, I thought he was going to fall a lot more. But again, I hate saying that he had character stuff when he was drafted, because it was like all at the beginning of his collegiate career. And to be fair, it was kind of heavy, but like all word out, like him when he was coming out of the draft, like a lot of that was behind him. So that was good to hear. So maybe a guy that they want to continue to develop. Really, for me, the only guys that they have right now in tow that can be a serviceable backup if injury does come around, because it probably will, is Connor McGovern, which is great, because Tyler Smith, I think when Tyron Smith gets hurt, they're going to move Tyler Smith to left tackle. They bring Connor McGovern and play left guard. That's great. Tyler Biadasz, I don't nearly think he's as bad as people make him sound. I think penalties are a big problem, but I do like that they bring in a couple of UDFAs that are, like, honestly, James MPI, like, he's probably his ceiling's replacement level starter in the NFL, but I wouldn't mind, like, if they want to move on, like, be like, Biadasz, let's give these other guys a crack. Like, James MPA ain't bad. Alec Lindstrom, dude's kind of made for an outside zone blocking scheme, which is fine. We know kind of like the Cowboys, they kind of like to mix and match in that regard, but I'm just glad that they brought in some UDFAs, and I honestly, I could see potentially both those guys making the roster. Zach Martin. So it's like there will be I think for me the biggest question for this offense is, can the offensive line stay healthy? Because I feel good about Tyler Smith. I feel better than most people do about Tyler Biadasz. Zach Martin, we already know, all pro. But then it's Tyron Smith. Can you stay healthy? Terrence Steele. Are you more than just adequate? That type of stuff. Dak, again, another guy, as long as he can stay healthy. Like, I don't mind Cooper Rush as a backup. I think he's a solid backup. But, yeah, no, like, of course, Dak's your guy. Will Greer, a guy that I liked a few years ago now out of West Virginia. Woof. And then they got Ben DiNucci. Get those guys probably don't make the roster, and if Dak does suffer an injury, they'll probably maybe bring if both those guys end up on the practice squad, bring both those guys up. But I do like this roster. Ryan Nall coming over from the Bears. That's fine. I would say in a league that doesn't really care too much about the fullback, he's an average, above average starter for fullback. But let's look at the defense here, because I'm not even mentioning Mike McCarthy's name, because this guy's basically a team manager. But this is Dan Quinn's defense, and let's talk about Danny boy. So I think he is showed to be more adaptable after last season. He, especially when you look at one of the guys that oh my goodness, I'm blanking. Riley, Dan Quinn. Pardon me. I'm trying to remember if Gus Bradley. Who worked under who? I'm pretty sure Gus Bradley was. Dan Quinn worked under Gus Bradley. I don't know. Regardless, Quinn is not Gus Bradley. Thank goodness gracious. Gus Bradley's probably one of my favorite, or least favorite, coordinators in all the NFL. And Quinn, he showed to be adaptable last season, as he's more than just a heavy cover 3 guy. While he still relies on quite a bit of cover 3 and cover 1 man, which they were in that 61% of the time last year, he has dipped more into cover 2 and cover 4. So while still giving these cover 1 looks, he loves those cover 1 shells. He became more of this attacking 4-3 adapting elements from a 3-4 scheme, as we saw that with Micah Parsons. He was very successful at that. He had 70 pressures, 14 sacks, and it'll be in defensive rookie of the year. That worked. Quinn, he was 10th in blitz rate last season, 27%, and 4th in pressure, 27.6%. So hey, what you doing? It's working. You're getting home. I like that. I like that a ton. And honestly, they saw a lot more success when they had a healthy DeMarcus Lawrence in the lineup, which says a lot because he only played 8 games last year. So yeah, nah, man. Like, and I like some of the things, like bringing Dante Fowler. I thought was huge, especially with DeMarcus Lawrence. Obviously you don't expect him to go down, but I think Dante Fowler is a very adequate pass rusher 2 in the league. And then I think there's been a misconception when it comes to this run defense, because a lot of people think their run defense is pretty poor, and I'm not saying it's good, but it's average. It's average at best. When you look at their EPA or their success rate, which these statistics analytics, they remove blowouts, like where the team was just running the ball to drain the clock. They remove or at least they take context and consideration, like if you were to if a team was get an 8-yard gain on the ground, but it was like 3rd and 15. It's like, yeah, the team's better suited to protect the pass. That run play, it was going to get more yards than normal. So they take all that into consideration in their EPA, which is earned points allowed, or earned points average. 14th in the NFL. Their success rate when it came to stopping the run, 17th. Like I said, this team, a very average when it comes to stopping the run. And the reason I think that they might be better than last year for a couple of reasons. So let's just start on the defensive line. They're gonna get healthy Neville Gallimore back. They drafted John Ridgeway, who is a run stuffer. He's a strong-bodied run stuffer. He is what he is. Carlos Watkins, another solid run stuffer, because we know Osa Odigizua, love that name, always and forever. This guy's explosive. He's a pass rusher. So while it's not like, they're going to be, I think they're still going to be a bit average. I think they're going to be closer to that 14 to 17 as they were last year. But yeah, no, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. They got Tristan Hill, who's once he's gone, they ain't bring him back. He is hot poo poo. Quinnen Bohanna, just a big body guy they brought out. They drafted out of Kentucky a year ago. So right now I expect Gallimore and Odigizua to kind of lead the way there, but I think early downs we could see guys like Ridgeway, guys like Watkins, even Ridgeway I could see on like third and lawns, and like him just kind of be like nose tackle. When it comes to their pass, like their edge rushers, DeMarcus Lawrence, wonderful. Dorrance Armstrong, adequate, fine. He's kind of a Cowboy legend at this point. At least it feels like. It feels like he's been with this team for a decade. And it's probably been like, what, 4 or 5 years. They drafted Sam Williams, though. I was a big fan of Sam Williams. He had kind of had a breakout year for Ole Miss this past year. Or you could also say the year before, but he also dealt with some stuff. They do have Chauncey Golston, who's capable of kicking inside on passing downs. I like that. And also, like, low-key Terrell Basham, solid. Like, dude is pretty good. Like, and I say pretty good in terms of depth. Like, he's a very good depth option. So I'm kind of curious if we even see Sam Williams this year, because I imagine like Fowler, Golston, with considering Golston, he's more of this versatile piece that you could, he's more of this edge setter, and then you could kick him inside as a pass rusher. So he's got a bit more versatility in that regard. But yeah, no, I'm kind of curious how much of Sam Williams will we even see this year. They also they picked up Micah Tafa, I don't know, Utah UDFA. Dude's like 26, I think, maybe 24 or 25, something like that. I don't know. He's fine. Probably won't make the roster though. Got to talk about Micah Parsons, because he is a huge, like, he was their best pass rusher last year. He was huge in that regard. So expect him to do a little bit more of the same. And if that's the case, I think it's Jabril Cox that kind of steps in here. I was a huge Jabril Cox fan. If you're not new to the channel, you knew I love Jabril Cox. You knew I love Cox. Let's just put it that way. They do have Van Der Esch still, but he's more of a liability at this point, as you could tell, as they kind of went in at linebacker this past draft, grabbing Damon Clark, though he will not play this year because of injury, and then Devin Harper at I believe it's Oklahoma State. So like you're kind of hoping big things from Jabril Cox. You know, if you're gonna kick Parsons outside to go just wreak havoc, then it's going to be Cox that comes in. Or if Van Der Esch is just... Listen, the guy was great his freshman year. He just hasn't been great since the injury. It's a very unfortunate situation. But yeah, if he's not, you know, doing all that hot, then yeah, you're kind of hoping Jabril Cox, who showed a little bit of promise before he got hurt last year. Then we go to the secondary. They got Kelvin Joseph as a starter here. I don't believe it. This cat, he's got character issues dating back to his time in LSU, and you're like, they drafted him out of Kentucky. I know. Regardless, like, I don't know. I would just go ahead with was it Trevon Diggs and Anthony Brown as your guys on the outside at corner. I thought they were fine last year. Obviously, Trevon Diggs is just this interception playmaking machine, but with that comes, like, sometimes he gets blown up. I think he allowed, if not the most, close to the most yards in coverage last season. But you kind of know what you're getting. Like, I feel like there's a lot of value when you have a guy that can create turnovers like that. You're gonna have to deal with, okay, sometimes he blows coverage. So I honestly, I'm okay with that. Anthony Brown, I thought, was fine last year on the outside. Like, yeah, nothing special. Probably could upgrade from, but like, he's fine. Jordan Lewis, yeah, just throw him back in the slot. I mean, to be fair, I think it was no, it was Kazi last year that was playing a lot in the slot. Was it, or was it Curse? Curse was I think Curse was there like every man. Like, this guy lined up everywhere in the secondary. So Malik Hooker, okay, this is what it is. I think Malik Hooker is actually taking over for Kazi. Hopefully I'm saying his name. I've never been able to pronounce his last name. But he's going to be taking over that deep safety role. So it's going to be Jaron Curse, who's going to be playing the slot, playing in the box. He'll be playing split high occasionally when they go into cover 2 sets or shells. But they really don't have like a third safety there who, at least in my opinion, maybe like, I kind of like Donovan Wilson. Like, I think he's a solid box safety. Israel McWamu, maybe, perhaps. Kind of like in that same boat. Man, people loved him as a corner out of South Carolina, and I was like, dude, I got the speed to stick to corner, man. They also bring in as a UDFA Marquise Bell out of Florida A&M, another guy who's very similar to kind of like Jaron Curse. That's kind of like the role he would be in the slot, in the box, playing deep. Like, he could do a variety of different things. They got Wanye Thomas, he's a box guy through and through. So it's like they don't have a lot of deep options. Looking at their depth at corner, again, Kelvin Joseph, maybe he does step up this year, and they get what they were hoping to get in the 2021 draft in the second round. But they also have Nashawn Wright, who's a guy that just has a lot of length, good size. They went out and drafted Deron Bland at, I believe it was Fresno State. I honestly, my favorite pickup by them, Isaac Taylor Stewart. That's my dude. That's my guy. A guy that just has yet to, maybe never, but just never achieved that potential he has. Because the dude, it really is. He is like, he's ridiculously fast, great size. Just really needs to be. Like, there's times where it's like, okay, you need to be a bit more aware of what you're doing. Don't let yourself get played by double moves by the receiver. Don't get yourself played by a little bit of the eye candy from the quarterback. But like, overall, like, I really like, I think he could sneak into making this squad. Like, I have that much faith in Isaac Taylor Stewart. Like, yeah. But I feel good about the defense. I feel about the same as they were last year. Like this, I don't think they did too much to really flip things on their head defensively. Like, yeah, it sucks that they lost out on Randy Gregory. That was kind of huge. Like, that was a guy that was bringing a lot of pressure. Who's the guy that fills that in? I think it's Micah Parsons. he will bridge the gap. Then maybe Sam Williams is another guy, like a stand-up rusher role. Maybe that's why they went out and got him. So there is that. There's also reports. This is actually from Carlos Watkins, because today started training camp. I say today. You're seeing this on Thursday. I'm recording this Wednesday night. But their training camp started today, and Carlos Watkins kind of confirmed, I guess supposedly confirmed, that they were seeking going after Anthony Barr, who I think would be a good fit. Like, Minnesota never took advantage of what he could be as a pass rusher, and so like maybe you could have him come in and be that, whether it's depth for Micah Parsons, or maybe he takes on a Randy Gregory role. I don't know. That's something we're gonna have to see, but yeah, no, I feel about the same with his defense. Guess at this point we just go ahead and talk about my projected stars for this season, and I do this not based on base defenses or offenses, but who's going to see the field the most. I do it on snap count. So let's go ahead, do the nitty gritty. And we're going to be starting with the offense, as Dak Prescott, of course, is going to be the starting quarterback. And then you got Ezekiel Elliott. They'll watch out Tony Pollard. He's a coming. And then Michael Gallup. James Washington, I have kind of edging out. Maybe Jalen Tolbert. Maybe Fehoko. Who knows? But I really do think CeeDee Lamb's going to be used the majority of the time in the slot. Dalton Schultz there at tight end. Tyron Smith at left tackle, as long as the man can stay healthy. Tyler Smith, Tyler Biadasz, Zach Martin, and Terrence Steele. And then on defense, I got DeMarcus Lawrence, Dorrance Armstrong, because he's just faithful. Neville Gallimore, Osa Odighizuwa, and then a linebacker, Micah Parsons, Leighton Vander Esch. Hopefully, see more of Jabril Cox this year after the injury. Trevon Diggs, Anthony Brown, and then Jordan Lewis, and then we got Malik Hooker and Jaron Kearse. Let's go ahead, do my predictions. I got this team 9-8. Let me blow my nose real quick. Y'all could tell I'm a little stuffy. Oh, yeah, I got this team 9-8. You'll be like, and they're 8? Yeah, I do this based on a draft order. Like, they win their division, so they're going to be higher than some teams that have like 10 or 11 wins. That's just how it works. They won their division. I got them winning the division. I got them going 3-3 in the division. I got them playing well against losing teams, 7-4, and not so well against winning teams, 2-4. So it kind of goes the other way. But let's go ahead and look at the game-by-game breakdown here, as I got y'all losing your openers, and I'll talk about the Giants game in a minute. Listen. I sound like the Acclaim now. Yo, listen. When it came to division games, I sided with the home team. If I thought they were gonna split, I gave the home team the win. Typically, teams are supposed to play better at home. But Tampa Bay, that's a rough opener there. It's not a great way to start the season, and then you have to face the Bayou Bengals. So, like, yeah, that's kind of rough. Realistically, this Giants game, for me, could go either way. I feel like the Giants are going to probably be a bit hotter at the beginning of the year than they are at the end of the year, because I feel like by the end of the year, they're going to know Daniel Jones ain't their quarterback. But got y'all winning against Washington, and then, like, really, like, this sucks. Outside, like, going into your bye, I guess it's not true. Okay, outside your division games, like, your first 3 non-division games of the year are the Bucks, Bengals, and Rams? That sucks. Not only do you face the 2 teams that squared off in the Super Bowl, but you face Tom Brady, who is looking for another Super Bowl with a very good squad who just added Julio Jones recently. And some of y'all be like, oh, that don't really mean nothing. I don't know, man. You just add a pinch of Julio and Tom Brady can do the rest. It's literally Tom Brady, take the wheel. But yeah, that's rough. That's a rough opening schedule. And I mean, you get the Bears, you get the Bears and the Lions down here going into the bye. So going into the bye, I have y'all 1, 2, 3, 3 and 5, 3 and 5. But I have y'all playing very well after the bye. So look at that. I have y'all beating Green Bay. So shut your mouth. Don't you say I'm a hater. I got y'all beating the Packers. That's a good squad. But I do have you losing to the Vikings. I think the Vikings are a very good squad this year. Beating the Giants. You get the Colts at home. Got y'all beating them. You get the Texans and then the Jags. So I got a 4-game win streak right here. Basically, you're 5-1 after the bye. No, I guess I didn't always go with the home team here. Wait, do I got the Eagles beating y'all twice? I have y'all beating Washington twice. I don't know about that. I really should have thought about that sucker. I think the Eagles could maybe get a game on y'all, but 2 games? I think I probably said this exact same thing in my Eagles deep dive. All right, so I got the Cowboys at 10-7. Oh man, but end of the year with the Titans and Washington. Yeah, Yeah, no, that Titans team is going to be tough to beat. They're going to be vying for the playoffs in a very close division with the Colts. So, yeah, no, it could be tough sledded there down the stretch. Not really down the stretch, but tough sledding in week 17. And then, I mean, I really think the Eagles, and you can make an argument that even Washington, because that's still a very good squad too. Like all three, these last 3 games, all 3 of those teams you face are going to be vying for the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. Be on the look for my prospect rankings if you love the draft, because I'm giving y'all a nice preseason watch list. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.